Hey Ian, it's me. Your boat story was great, and it made me understand how we became such close friends so quickly. I too am a little impulsive. I think I'm kinder to myself about my impulses than you are, but in the past 3 years I've purchased 2 computers, 3 iPads, 3 iPhones, and 2 Apple Watches. Now, not all of that was for me. I have kids that I use as an excuse to pass down my old technology so I can get new technology. So what I'm saying is...
Same!
But just a heads up, and I think you've already discovered this, I'm the wrong friend to go to if you want to curb your impulsive nature. If you come to me with the desire to buy another boat, I'll tell you to do it, because every crazy thing I have ever done has led me somewhere that I'd never have gotten to if I'd played it safe. So yes, while trading up iPads every 8 months for 3 years is an expensive impulse that I can't really justify, there are other things I've done on impulse which, if I hadn't done them, well, let me tell you a tale of 3 impulses. My father died suddenly when I was 12, and his life insurance set me up to pay in full for a bachelor's degree at any state college, with enough left over for grad school or a down payment on a house or a year in Europe. And I, at 18 years old, watched a basketball game on television and decided that I was supposed to go to Syracuse University, for which I had enough money to cover 2.5 years.
Math is hard.
I don't even like sports. But I discovered that the new house school at Syracuse had an excellent television program, and I love television, so I applied to this highly competitive school with no backup plan. I never even applied anywhere else. That is impulse number 1. It was a great 2 years, and during my junior year, I managed to work part-time to pay for room and board on my own, so I squeaked out 1 more year of tuition. But before my senior year, I was out of money, and my general life philosophy of, it'll probably work out, had left me with pretty much no options. I was lucky enough that my professors really liked me, and they hooked me up with a full-time job at the school, which would get me part-time schooling benefits. It would take a few years longer. I wouldn't graduate with my friends, but I'd graduate, eventually. So I took that job. I worked and took classes, and at the end of that year, my boss came to me and told me they were giving me a 25-cent an hour raise, which in 1993, wasn't nothing. So I was like, great. And then he said, and we're cutting your schooling benefits. But in the end, Newhouse is the place where I first started to learn about stories, which would eventually become my life's work. I made good friends there who are still a part of my life today. Eventually, I got that job back with benefits and finished that degree. I would occasionally come back over the years to teach, and I work there full time now. Newhouse is my home, my family. So would I go back and undo that impulse? No. But at the time, it didn't look good. All my friends were graduating. I was not. I had no plan. I had no idea what to do next. It was for damn sure I wasn't going to move back home. So one night, I'm on the phone with a friend from high school who had a friend from college who was from Alaska, and she said you could make just a ton of money working at the canneries over the summers. Enough money for 1 more year at Syracuse? No. But maybe enough to go part-time for a year while I worked another full-time job and figured out my next move? Yeah, sure. So I called my best friend from college, an actress named Tracy, with a shiny new degree and no real plans, and I was like, hey, so here's what we're going to do this summer. We're going to go to Alaska and camp out in a tent and work the slime line at the canneries and make bank. I can go back to school. You can go to Los Angeles. Trust me, it'll be fun. That's impulse number 2. And Tracy said no. Over and over again, she said no. But there's this thing about me that you have come to realize. I tend to drag my friends into stuff they don't really want to do, but which in the end changes their lives. So, we go to Alaska in late May, figuring we'll just pick up some work at a cannery. It'll be fine. But the thing is, late May, that's between halibut and salmon season, and you know what the canneries aren't really doing in late May? Hiring. So here we are, 2 young girls from New York with duffel bags and a tent, and my high school friend's friend picked us up at the airport and drove us to one cannery, and then the next, and then the next, and no one was hiring. They wouldn't even let us camp out in their parking lot until they could hire us, which meant that we would end up in Tent City, a field in the middle of nowhere where the stupid unemployed people like us ended up, and where young girls could not exactly be assured of their safety. So finally, we get to the last cannery on the row, where we meet Dante, A 5'2" Filipino man who was built like a brick shithouse and could kill a man twice his size with a dirty look. Dante was no one to fuck with. But in lovely compliment to his Dwayne Johnson physique, he had an Andy Dwyer heart, and having 2 crying girls from New York in his office was a bit much for him. He let us camp out in the land behind the cannery, which was beautiful and way better than some crappy parking lot. This campground was also visited occasionally by rampaging moose, one of which almost took down our tent as it was being chased through the camp by one girl's yippy little dog. But I'll tell you one thing.
You never can tell what your day here is going to turn into.
Sadly, we were to discover that this cannery had trouble paying for its fish, and as such, people weren't inclined to toss their catch our way. We worked very little that summer and made just enough money to pay for our food and beer and our return tickets home. But that summer, I met my kid's dad, a man I would be married to for 12 years, and a man who is, to this day, one of my most treasured friends. So would I change it? Not in your life. So, moving forward, impulse number 3. 16 years after that first fateful trip to Alaska, I was in the middle of divorcing my kid's dad, and I met a man from Scotland, online.
I know. I'm in the future also.
I keep saying that I don't want to talk about this. I don't. But I keep coming back to it. As much as I hate it, as much as I hate giving him such a place of importance in my life, he doesn't matter. He is meaningless. He is nothing. But my experience of him, the impact crater he left on my life, that can't be denied. As far as defining life experiences go, that one's number 1 with a fucking bullet. And it was born of impulse, so it tracks to what I'm talking about here today. If I didn't talk about it in this context, I would be lying, dissembling, avoiding. And I don't do that shit anymore. But I don't want to talk about it. Every time I do, I feel like I need to share the details so people understand why it matters so much, why I can't just drop it, why I can't exist in a world where this experience isn't a defining part of who I am. And just, ugh.
Please stop talking.
Anyway, what's truly important about that experience is where I am now. Happier than I've ever been in my life. Stronger than I ever knew I could be. My anxiety and self-loathing gone. My kids are great. I'm great. I love my life. So would I change that impulse? Yeah. I would fly into space. Turn the world backwards if I could. I would undo it all. Every day, twice on Sundays.
I've made a huge mistake.
When this episode of Nerd Chipper goes live, I will have just returned from an impulsive trip to Alaska. About a month ago, I reconnected with an old friend and we decided I should visit, so I bought a ticket. Now, I can't tell you how that trip is going to go because as I record this, I haven't gone yet. And as far as impulses go, going to a place I used to live to see a friend I've known for 20 years, it's not that crazy. On the Lani scale of impulsivity, it's practically mundane. But I can tell you this. Our impulses may be reckless. They may be financially unfeasible. They may be, sometimes, even dangerous. But they are also a call to courage and to adventure. They will change us in ways we could never anticipate. And regrets may happen sometimes. But also, sometimes, they will bring miracles into our lives. Life without wild leaps of faith is safer, sure. But wild leaps of faith introduce us to parts of ourselves we would have never been aware of if we'd played it safe. Life isn't safe. Eventually, life kills us all. And whether or not an individual believes in something coming after that, the fact is we aren't right here, right now, to exist. We're here to live. And playing it safe, I've come to accept that just isn't how I live.
Yeah, I was wandering the streets of Paris, penniless, without a hope in the world. And let me tell you, you can do a lot of soul-searching in a time like that. And I realized that I've spent most of my adult life trying to protect myself from exactly this situation. And you can't do it. There's no home safe enough, there's no country nice enough, there's no relationship secure enough. You're just setting yourself up for an even bigger fall and having an incredibly boring time in the process. Sorry, Charlie.
So, I'm going to Alaska with my laptop and my iPhone and my iPad and my Apple Watch because you never leave a piece of technology behind, man. And I'm going to visit an old friend and we're going to wander around the old stomping grounds and we're going to go camping out in the woods. And maybe a rampaging moose being chased by a yippy dog might almost take out the tent. But like all the impulses I've followed in my life, I expect I'll come home just a little bit different for the experience. And the person I'll be after this impulse, and the next impulse, and the next, I want to meet that woman. So yeah, Ian, if you ever need a friend to stop you from buying a boat, I am not your girl. But if you need someone to ride shotgun while you embark on your next wild, life-changing adventure,
do it! Fierce power!
all right, Ian. See you in 2 weeks.